So this here is Adobe Photoshop, specifically Adobe Photoshop 2021. I'm just going to go over some of the tools and basically just run down with the basics and explain, what you can use it for. So first off, it's probably best to have a little thing we can have and manipulate with. So if we open. So the first tool that we have on the side here is the Move tool, where you literally click and you can move. You can move things around. Look at that. That is the Move tool. The second tool is what I use to get it onto the thing, and that is the Select tool. So this is basically, so if I show you, if I wanted the whole image, I can do that, Control C, Control V, and then it creates an image. Or if I say just wanted this bit, Control C, Control V, and it's just that bit. You can also get these in multiple different types of shapes. So we have the rectangular one, or we've got a elliptical one, which is obviously, well, it's an ellipse. Then here, the lasso tool, probably the most famous for Photoshop. There's different types. You have just the normal lasso, the polygon, and the magnetic. So we're going to go over the lasso first. So the lasso, if you wanted to cut out this image of this duck, then you just go around. I'm doing this very carelessly. I'm just sort of going around, and then boom, you have a duck. But then if you wanted a bit more precision, you would use your polygon tool, whereby if you would zoom in a bit more, you select your polygon tool, and you click, and that creates an anchor point, which you can then which you can then move around freely like this, and then you create another anchor point, and another anchor point, and another anchor point. So whilst it is more accurate to do it this way, obviously when it comes to curves and stuff, you do have to do more anchor points, because obviously from one point to another point is a straight line. So you have to do a lot of little points when you're doing the curves. If you double click, that finishes your selection, and obviously you've got all of this space to still do. So that's why you wouldn't necessarily want to do that. Then we have the magnetic lasso tool, and it might actually work with this one, because obviously you have a green background here and then a white duck. So this sticks to colors, so you don't even have to click. You just drag it around and it creates the selection for you. So as you can see here though, on the eye, it's trying to select just the white, but obviously you would want the white. So that is where you can also create anchor points, and you can go around and specifically click these things. So if you have a tool, so if you have a very specific color that stands out, then you have the freedom to be able to move around like this. Here's an example of here's an example of where the magnetic tool will shine. So as you can see, right around. Obviously, the slower you go, the more accurate it will be. But just for this case, I'm just going to go around, not even clicking, not even paying attention. Oh, said I was not paying attention, and it immediately went off. But you get the picture. Now, the Magic Wand tool basically selects a set area of colors. So as you can see the white here, if I click on this, then it's going to select all of the things that are the very similar colors. Now, you would also want to select around this area if you're just getting the face of the duck out. So if you press Shift, then you get a little plus sign, and then you can click, and it will add to your selection. But then say if you wanted the rest of it, just click, and then you keep clicking around. Now say you see there's a little area here. If you wanted to select that, and you can't quite click it, then you can just click zoom in with your magnifying glass, and then use your selection tool. I didn't press Shift. It's alright, Control Z. Click and click. And then there you go. Control C, Control V, and then you have your duck's face. Next tool here is the crop tool. So this crops your entire workspace into this area. Here you have your frame tool. You can click and drag and create a little frame. Look at that. So the eyedropper tool is used specifically to select a certain color that perhaps you wanted to match the exact color of something. Then all you would do is you click and drag, and you can choose the color that you would like. So as you can see, here's more red, here's more orange. Now I want to match this text here, bill, because white on white isn't that great. I want to match the text of the bill with the color of the bill. So that was overly complicated for no reason. So you select your text, you then click here, press OK, and then the bill is the same color as the bill. If you would like to what we call airbrush a photo, it means you're fixing it. You're fixing the wrong sort of like, well, not the wrong, but you're fixing the little blemishes and the spots and stuff. So what you do is you select your spot healing brush, and then where a spot is, sometimes it's actually usually better to create a new layer and then sample all layers, make sure that's selected. Because if you don't have that selected, then it won't sample the layer that's below, which is what you're fixing. So sample all layers, and then just like that, disappeared. Look at that. Very useful tool. The patch tool works very similarly to the spot healing brush, whereby you can select an area that you would like to change, and you click and you drag, and then you choose an area that you want it to imitate, and then there you go. The next tool we're going to go over is a pretty obvious one, and that is the brush tool. Now you have the brush, the pencil, color replacement, and a mixer brush tool. But the brush tool is quite literally a brush that you can paint with, and you can do this and you can do that. The pencil tool, like the brush tool, you can create things like that, you can draw, but obviously it's a lot thinner. The color replacement tool is something that's a bit more interesting. This will replace the color, obviously. So, if you say wanted to change this, it's a bit temperamental. Alright, so say if you wanted to change the color of this duck. So this is just a wild example of what you can use it for. Just like that. You've got a blue beak, if that's what you want. Perhaps you do. I mean, why not? I don't know why I'm taking so much care in this. Now the mixer brush tool, it colors. The color of the brush responds to the area that you're coloring in. So you can see here, they're all little bits and pieces that are still miscolored. Now if I click and I drag, then it will change the color to match the area around it, which is pretty cool. You can use that to fix these little areas, just like that. And also these like halo effects here that you have around the corner. The stamp tool creates a stamp. Say if I click on this duck, and then when I sort of go to draw, so say if I select this area here and I want to put a duck there, and then I draw in, do you see it? There's a little cross below, and it will basically paint in the duck. Perhaps you're gonna create one here, and maybe even one in the middle. Why not? Ducks everywhere. Look at that. Honestly, what have I made? What is this? So the pattern stamp tool, basically, you have a bunch of patterns here to select from. You got some grass. Yeah, go on. Why not? Just increase the size, and then you can paint in some grass. Look at that. Look at that. Brilliant. Have an eraser tool. The eraser tool erases things. Let's erase this area, make it a bit more smooth. There you are. So the gradient tool comes from the fill. So basically this is like an entire page. So I'm going to create a new layer and say instead of a PNG background, which is this transparent thing, the different colored like checkerbox design, say if we wanted a gradient as the background instead, perhaps a yellow one, you click and you drag in the direction you want your gradient to form. And then there you go. See, it creates this gradient. So it's like, so as you can see, it went from that angle down to this angle. So say if we wanted the hearty yellow up here and then the white down here. There you are. Paint bucket tool. If you ever used paint, then you know what this is. You click and you fill, and it will fill that area of color. Say if you wanted the entire area, I'm just gonna do that. Make a new layer, and then boop, then it will fill the whole area. The blur tool. Now the blur tool. I'm not sure if you're gonna know this, but the blur blurs things. So say wanna, I don't know, should we blur this duck? Let's blur this duck, and ever so slightly, it's gonna get blurrier and blurrier. And say if you wanted to smudge different things, you can use the smudge tool, and you can sort of, as you can see, it smudges the image. Next we have the dodge and burn tools that I want to go over. So these come from the darkroom, where say if you're using light sensitive paper, if you cover up an area, then it will make it lighter, and if you say cover up everything but that area, it'll make it darker. So as you can see, you can brighten and you can darken areas of images. There you are. Text tool, as we use down there, you can create some text if you would like. Here are the shape tools. So you have a rectangle, you have an ellipse, you have a triangle, you have a polygon. So the polygon here, so say I'm going to show you something here. Say if you want the edges to be round, then you can do that.